Peace, beloved brothers and sisters, and by the Heavenly Father's grace and mercies, bringing forth only His Word, the Bible. In my hand is the 1769 King James Version Bible, the Word of the Heavenly Father translated from the original Hebrew and Greek languages into our modern English language. All right, so, and this is the Bible because it also contains all the books of the Bible, not just the Old Testament and New Testament, but the apocryphal books that account for the 420 years from the end of the Old Testament Malachi and the start of the New Testament Matthew. The apocryphal books fit in that time frame of history. So now, one of the things that's important to know is the wisdom that the Lord gives us. You really want to start reading the Bible. There's nothing more valuable. There's nothing that can make you, be more spiritually strong, get your mind healed. There's nothing that covers everything in life. Only the Bible does that. That's why the Heavenly Father so confidently doesn't have angels at every corner and in the sky, or, that we can see, because His Word is so perfect that once we start to read the Bible, we see our Creator communicating with us and also understanding the power that He shows through His Word, and how everything, the earth, everything in creation, us, bend to His Word and is exactly as His Word says, and is exactly as the future is saying, and the future that's now and the future that is to come. Okay, so let's get Proverbs 22 verse 3. All right, so this is twofold, because this is in life and also the wisdom that the scriptures give us to make us wise, to be aware of the dangers that living in these last days is constant. Let's get it. Proverbs 22 verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. So a wise man, a man that's studying the Bible and applying the Bible, he's going to foresee danger. He's not going to learn danger by now he's being, damaged by it or destroyed by it, or in his last few seconds to live. He's going to understand that he's going to do better if he avoids issues, avoids his problems, fixes problems. Like, he might have overdue tickets. He might have, like citation tickets or traffic tickets. He may have other issues where he's not going to wait to get pulled over by the police. Hey, what's that in your hand? Now it's a new officer, or an officer that, might have just been shot at the shift before. And now he's a little more anxious or ready for war or fearful of his life. So you're going to prevent a lot of situations just by being more responsible, handling your obligations to God and to men blamelessly. So let's read that again. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. So a wise man is going to foresee problems and be proactive and avoid them, or fix them, or anticipate them. He's not going to let his lust choose a woman for him, because now that's a woman that's going to lie. She's going to be sleeping with other men. She's going to wait till she's pregnant to tell you that she feels she's a lesbian. She just wanted to, all the madness and crazy things. That's normal life for many people. You're going to avoid that by being wise. You're going to examine a woman more. You're going to continue to be a better man, so you're able to guide and lead a woman, instead of arguing back and forth and who's the most stubborn, who's the physically stronger. You're not going to be falling back into carnal, wicked things. You're going to be walking wisely, and then you're going to be preventing a lot of wickedness and ills as a result. It says, but the simple pass on and are punished. So if we're unwise and not applying the Bible, we're going to be making all the wrong decisions. We're going to be stressed and not able to handle our frustration. So we're going to just be mounting up, less patience, more of a temper, more negative emotions, more overwhelmed in situations. So you're going to have a quicker temper. You're going to be more agitated. You're going to be, more angry and doing more dangerous things when you're angry. So all these things are going to continue to mount up. When you're not foreseeing the evil, when you're not examining yourself to make sure that you're not, like a trailer truck going downhill and out of control with no brakes, you're going to be identifying yourself and examining yourself daily, making sure that if you feel overwhelmed, you're going to be praying more. You're going to be dealing with scriptures that guide us in the different topics. You might have mental issues. You might have, different clinical issues that are actually spirits and demons that we need to pray and fast to get rid of. We're not going to get rid of them through psychiatrists. We're not be able to get rid of them our own way. We're not going to get rid of them by being active more, or, now you're doing 50 things in one day and not handling the things mentally that are the most important. You're trying to distract yourself from them rather than face them head on. And with prayers and studying the Bible, getting the wisdom to be able to overcome things that are stronger than us, that by ourselves we won't be able to overcome, nor anyone else telling us to take medication and what dosage to take is going to help us to overcome. Now, yeah, you might have situations where if you're really overwhelmed or you're just starting to learn the Bible, that you might be in a process of, needing to take your medication because you're so overwhelmed that those spirits you're dealing with are so powerful that you need to grow. You can call us and ask questions. We'll just show you the scriptures, not tell you our opinion. Oh, yeah, well, we'll tell you, but we're going to charge you. This is for free. The Lord told his disciples in Matthew chapter 10, verse 8, as thou hast freely received, freely give. So those of you that claim you're serving the Lord or think you're serving the Lord, you're going to have to show and prove and stop charging people to get married and charging them for services or other things that's filthy lucre. We can't make tithes money. Tithes was never money, and through Christ we don't collect tithes anymore. He's our singular one high priest. He's our priest. So all tithes that went to men when we had men as priests before the Messiah, they weren't paid money. They were given food of the land. They were given vegetables. They were given fruits. They were given, 10% of your livestock, or your animals. They weren't given money. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't. When you read in Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22 down to verse 29. So it's time to start learning the Bible so we can identify false prophets or those that aren't sharing scriptures by the Lord's Spirit. So they're coming up short. They're adding and taking away from the word. We have to foresee Judgment Day because it's so serious that all the works are going to be done. We're not going to be able to negotiate or pay or do a bunch of push-ups or something that we don't like to do. Okay, I'll eat bitter medicine. Do I get to the kingdom? All the works are going to be done. And we're forewarned. We're not going to expect Judgment Day. It's going to come as a thief in the night. You don't expect a thief in the night, or else you'd plan for it. The Lord is telling us ahead of time so we can plan for Judgment Day, even though it's going to come at a day that we don't know exact. It's going to come January 36th, January 28th at this. No, the Lord, he's making sure, he's examining to see and proving who's going to serve him or not. So we're either going to seek the Lord early before he comes, or find out the hard way why we should have learned and obeyed the word and put it as our highest priority. So that by having the word as our highest priority, we learn how to deal with our wife, learn how to deal with our children, learn how to deal and guide, not only our household, but be an example to others. Be a true friend, be a true family member, a brother, be have understanding on the commandments and how to share the word. But by not doing these things, people try to serve the Heavenly Father in the way that men tell them in Israelite groups, or men tell them in Christian church or Baptist church, or in Islam, rather than to go by the word of the Heavenly Father. And we continue to suffer for this. So we're either going to change or stubbornly continue disobeying the Lord and continuing to pay the price today and on Judgment Day. All right. So let's get one more precept, because foreseeing the evil, the Lord mercifully prophesies and forewarns us. He let us know long before these days what would be happening, so we know the Bible is true. We'd be able to identify that we better even tighten up more and be more focused, because the biblical Christ is coming back for judgment on Judgment Day, which is something real. It's not fictitious. There's a lot of lies in Christianity, but when they throw something out there saying Judgment Day, or that's something that kind of floats around, even in this wicked world we live in, Judgment Day, Armageddon, all those things are real. But you want to learn what the Bible proves those things are, not what men say. So let's get Matthew 24. Okay. Because you've seen the earthquakes in Venezuela recently. We see, the uproars of the people in Cuba, in the Middle East and different countries, because the world is getting more and more corrupt, more and more wicked leaders, more and more corrupt in every way, more and more suffering, cost increasing, rent increasing, money that people are making is not increasing. So people are continuing to suffer, and that's something that's extending more globally. It's not just limited to America. But if America is struggling like it is, regardless of the lies, what about other places? So this is Matthew 24, and it says, and you shall hear of wars, in Matthew 24, verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So the Lord is forewarning us that there's going to be all these things that are happening today are going to happen. We were told these specific things and many others long before today, so that we could know that this wasn't because the disciple Matthew, said some things that he felt and believed strongly in, or he was following some religion, the early Christian church. So now we want to follow the Bible and erase and delete what we've heard from Christianity and other lies and idolatries like Christianity or like any religions, and just go by Christ only, go by the Bible only, the biblical Jesus Christ, who is the Bible. And by doing so, we will start to get understanding. We'll start to be able to learn and identify the prophecies that are going to make us walk wiser, going to make us think before we say and do things, going to make us guide our family and keep them safe with prayers, with righteousness, and also saying, no, don't go out. We don't need that tonight. We can get that at the grocery store tomorrow, or I'll pick it up on my way from work. You want to protect your wives. There's a lot of serial killers and crazy evil people out here that are so evil, they attract demons evil. So it's nothing to them to murder children, or to violate a woman, or violate a boy that's walking by himself when he should be at home doing chores and learning how to be a man, learning how to not walk carelessly in the street, even if he has a single mother that would let him. But, by lacking understanding, we continue to learn the hard way. Like the Lord said, but the simple pass on and are punished. Children need guidance. They can't guide themselves, whether they're daughters, whether they're sons. They're going to run towards danger. They're going to think they're going to confidently think they can face anything, until that one girl walking home by herself in the early evening, or far away from home, or took a shortcut, Now there's some weirdo walking around, or some mannish woman walking around that's bigger than her and is carrying a weapon or something like that, and she's not going to do anything except show up missing or find out why she was warned by the Lord. So whatever age you are, you're not too young to learn the Bible, but you want to make sure that you're learning the scriptures and applying them, because we live in an evil world. Okay, so you want to foresee the evils and hide yourself. And let's get one more precept. For then shall be great tribulation. This is Matthew 24:21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So there's been wars in, what do you call it, in Ukraine for years. You have their men getting killed in war and in violence. You have so much evil happening that it becomes normalized. It becomes regular. Oh, at least we're not at war. And, yeah, but your neighbor's kid is missing. Well, hey, life happens, hey, Murphy's Law. They're going to come with some gibberish, because if they don't wake up, they may fall tomorrow. But you make sure that you start to learn the Bible, start to apply it, because it's our life. It's the only way that we can walk in a world that's so evil and intentionally confusing. Okay? All honor, praises, and glory to our Almighty Heavenly Father through His Word in our life, the biblical Jesus Christ. Peace, beloved brethren.